Welcome to Overwatch. This time we're going to be looking at the Reaper gameplay preview released by Blizzard. So this is going to be an interesting game and it's going to highlight another Protect the X comp. There's going to be a few cool things I want people to focus on during this game. If you haven't watched the game without my commentary, I recommend going and doing so, as I have made the assumption that you have already seen it, being a fan of Overwatch if you found my channel. So for the focus on for this game, I want you to focus on the idea of a distraction team, quote unquote, as this is going to be an assault. It's actually very interesting comparing it to the defense of the Tracer and Symmetra videos. The Tracer and Symmetra video had basically a Protect the Tracer comp where the defenders were all locked into one location and putting buffs on Tracer and letting Tracer bounce around and sort of disrupt the attacking force and keep the tanks pinned back with their ultimate. This is actually going to be kind of an interesting twist on that with an offensive team using a similar tactic. We're going to see Reaper buff to the gills, the attacking team is going to push forward through the middle, and Reaper's basically going to constantly find the flank, constantly find people's backs, and constantly put lots of shotgun shells into them and kill them very, very efficiently. So just watch how Reaper chooses his pathways and seems to be making conscious decisions of, okay, people are focusing this way, so I'm going to go this way. So if you are looking to play the grim, dark, edgy Lord of Murder that is Reaper, well, pay attention to the game. There's a lot of things you can learn from. The map will be Temple of Anubis. This is a very, very sunny map with a lot of open areas that move into more closed spaces the further the map goes on. And in my mind, I divide this map into 4 distinct areas. The first area is this very open courtyard. It's very, very difficult to defend this, and a team trying to defend this is going to have a tough time, I think. The second area is this sort of bizarre market area, and this is where you're going to be focusing most of your stalling on the first point. I think holding the first point is actually going to be very, very difficult, however, so do think of this point as a way of saving time, a way of sort of stalling out and trying to make sure that your last point, which is much harder to take, they have as little time as possible to do so. Next up you have this tight little urban area with lots and lots of little buildings. This is also very, very difficult to defend and very difficult for the attacking team to push into, and you're going to struggle holding people back here. You mostly use it as a staging ground, as an area to flank around if you are playing Reaper, for example, on a defending team. Use it as an area where you can easily duck in and out of cover and deal some damage, but don't focus too hard on controlling that area. And finally, you have the temple itself, and this is where most of your defense is going to take place. This is very, very difficult to assault into. There are 3 main pathways into it: through the front door on the left, which you can only get over and into if you have a mobility skill, and on the right there's a narrow alleyway. There is also a little way through the temple indoors on the left hand side if you can get round to it. We're going to see Reaper make some very, very good use of that pathway. So let's have a look at the teams. Who have we got here? Well, on the assaulting team we have Reaper, of course, we have Reinhardt on the front line, and McCree assisting with damage. In support we have just about everyone else. We have Torbjorn putting armor down on the ground for people to use and putting a turret up every now and then. We have Symmetra providing shields and maybe the occasional other turret and a teleporter. And we have Zenyatta providing those incredibly useful orbs of discord and harmony. On the defending team we have the Mercy and Pharah combo making a welcome return. We have Winston on the front lines, Zenyatta providing support, and Reaper and Tracer dealing out damage. As you can see on the defending team, there's no concrete back line. They're essentially going to have to counter offense with offense. They're relying on getting a lot of kills and killing people very quickly. And the attacking team is set up to not be killed quickly. So let's see how that works out. So welcome back to lovely sunny Cairo. I've done a little preview of this map before, but we'll go over a few things as they become relevant. What I'm going to point out now though is that this map has basically 2 distinct areas around each point. There's a sort of little nooks and crannies area ahead of where the point is, and then where the point is actually itself. In this first assault, we're going to see the attacking team do something very, very silly, which is try and hold this open courtyard area just out here, and that goes very, very badly. Now, I will point out Reaper has 400 hit points. This is far more than he normally should have, and this is because of the buff-oriented team that the offensive team is running. But as we can see, Winston runs out, gets an orb of discord on his face, and Reaper can very easily pick up the kill. McCree's probably already slammed a lot of damage. Hello Mercy, goodbye Mercy, and hello Tracer, goodbye Tracer. And here we see the problem of trying to engage a Reaper, especially a buffed Reaper, in this toe-to-toe environment. Reaper does so much damage point blank that he'll basically 2-shot anyone who isn't a tank, and this is very, very dangerous. So he's going to push up the middle here, he's going to look for that flank, but he does see Zenyatta charging up, waits for the shot to whiff, and then follows him, and this is when Zenyatta needs to be worried because, well, hello Zenyatta, hello friend, come here. We're going to put some shotgun shells in your back, and someone does actually manage to pick him off as well. So the way that this is going to work, and as I said in my focus on, is that the team is going to be focused on trying to fight the core with Reinhardt sort of playing tank, and meanwhile Reaper just gets to run around and do as he likes, like putting a lot of shots into Mercy's back following this Winston. And Winston, I believe, does have the Orb of Discord on him as well, so he's going to go down super fast. Wraith form just to buy some time and be a little bit safe. And here we see Reinhardt versus Winston. Winston does pop his ultimate, but oh no, counterplay from Reinhardt. Sit down, Winston. Eat some shotgun shells. Zenyatta again dancing back and forth, not really going to do much. Fired off her ultimate somewhere, but probably got picked off either by Tourbillon's turret or by the McCree. And this is an easy capture, giving the team a huge amount of time, 8.5 minutes to attack this second point. This is very, very, very bad for the defending team, as they basically have to hold on to 1 point for a huge amount of time, and the attacking team only has to succeed once. Winston, eating a lot of shotgun shells, does manage to leap away to safety. Unfortunately, Mercy has gone down, but she should be back up in time to defend the point. Here we see Farah, a lovely bunny hop by the concussive blast there, but it's a bit worrying to try and fight her in that tight confine. Basically anywhere her rocket lands, it's going to deal damage. Zenyatta coming off the back of an ultimate, easy kill, easy pickup. Reminder that Reaper does heal after getting kills, so it's very, very, very important to get kills as Reaper. Go figure. Again, the team is focused, looking elsewhere. Reaper gets an easy flank on, does fire off his ultimate. Farah does manage to leap away, however, and Reaper does go into Wraith form on the opposite team, so he's nice and safe. Barely misses the kill on this Mercy. He's forced to go into Wraith form and run. Farah is going to pick up the kill, and oh, distraction turret from the friendly Tourbillon. Not the most helpful thing in the world there. Tourbillon probably not going to be able to do much on his own here either. Farah in the air is a bit difficult for his rivet gun to deal with, even with the alternate shotgun style of firing. It's not going to quite be enough to beat the Mercy and Farah combo. So we have this nice long run back to the point. This is where Symmetra's teleporter would have been nice to see. It's interesting in this video that we don't get to see too much of the team. Reaper does go down to the hammer down from Reinhardt, does try and fire up his ultimate. I think it just instantly gets shot. That's a bit of a whiffed ultimate from him, and that's a shame. Please do not waste your ultimates like that when you're playing on my team, or I'll get very, very salty. So, peek in the middle, get a ball to the face, decide not to go that way. We're going to go around this flank, and this is where Reaper excels. He's got the Harmony Orb now, so he's going to be regenerating. And again, the team is so focused on trying to defend this middle push that Reaper does manage to get a nice flank on. He's forced to Wraith form, does tuck away here. Tracer goes down to something, we don't quite see what, but does get immediately picked up by a very, very strong Mercy ultimate, as I think she picked up multiple people there, and goes down immediately to the Farah. Farah is going to be Reaper's worst enemy in this matchup. She can simply deal so much damage, and she's got the Mercy in support, so she's very, very difficult to deal with. And here we see Symmetra teleporter in position, so it's very, very easy to get back into the fight. Winston, again, Orb of Discord, can't really afford to fight the Reaper in close range. Reaper will kill him before Winston kills Reaper. Mercy actually saved by the hammer down there. She just sort of falls under the bridge, the lip of the bridge, and can't land shots on her. Reaper ultimate onto the point, does manage to pick off the enemy Reaper and the Farah in the air. Not quite enough to pick off the Winston. Wraith form to escape, as Mercy does pick everyone up after firing off that ultimate. Winston again hammering people around, but I don't like this use of Winston ultimate on Reaper. It's just too hard to kill him. You're putting yourself in a really vulnerable position as well against his shotguns, and Reaper can always just go into Wraith form and just sort of float away happily and merrily as can be. Zenyatta firing off his shots, but again everyone's focused on this middle pathway, so Reaper can just run in. Zenyatta and Harmony Orb fired off, so it's very, very easy kills. This is the point under control now. And Tourbillon has his turret set up in the back. Mercy goes down. Winston is going to struggle to defend against this entire team, basically, as they just all stand on the point. Tracer going to nip around, but the game's already over. So yeah, a very, very effective kind of distraction team, similar to the team we saw in the Tracer and Symmetra video. It's a protect the Reaper comp, essentially, or not so much protect the Reaper, but distract for the Reaper. And we can see how effective that is here in this nice little play of the game. Easy kill on Tracer, just 2 shots, and then just easy kills with the ultimate. Huge amounts of damage going out. Enough to put people down, does force the Mercy ultimate out, and Mercy does manage to take the point back, but he only has to get that off once and kill the Mercy, and it's a win. A clean, easy, and efficient attack, I think. Very, very happy with this game. So as always, let's go over the teams. The attacking team had this very, very kind of robust sort of core pushing group and Reaper to work on the flanks and get easy kills as people are distracted fighting the core team. and it worked incredibly well. We saw that the attacking team basically caught the defending team with their pants down in that first little courtyard area, managed to pick up a few easy kills, and basically gained a huge amount of ground as a result. Also, people didn't seem to really be tracking the Reaper, and that's a mistake it seems, because if Reaper can get behind you, well, he's going to kill Mercy in 2 shots, he's going to kill Zenyatta in 2 shots, and then your support is gone, and you can't really do much. You can't fight anyone directly anymore because they have supports, you don't, and you lose as a result. So the onus of this game is really more on the defending team, so we're going to spend more time focusing on that, and the reason why they lost in my opinion is, again, no strong backline unit. Torbjorn will probably have actually worked incredibly nicely, funnily enough, as much stick as he gets. If he just stood on the backline, put a turret up in a good location, it does nullify a lot of Reaper's strengths. Reaper wouldn't be able to pop up as easily next to people and just kill them, as the turret would track him and kill him before he can do that. It means he's forced to deal with the turret as best he can, and if you look at the attacking team, they don't actually have a good answer for a turret. The only answer they have is the Reaper, and if Reaper's fighting turrets, he's not killing your entire team. Who would they replace? Difficult to say. Maybe the Tracer, maybe Zenyatta, because you already have Mercy in place. And Zenyatta didn't really seem to get up to much. The Orb is going to be very, very useful for taking out that Reinhardt, but Reinhardt's not really the key threat here. The ability to deal with his front push is going to be very, very important. Reaper managed to just bounce around and kill everyone he wanted and have fun while doing so. The Mercy and Fire combo, again, did very, very well. Tracer didn't really seem to get many bombs off it, though again, we didn't see much of the full team here. We just saw a lot of Reaper moving around on his own, doing things on his own, and killing people by the dozen, essentially. Mercy's ultimate did prove very, very useful a number of times. She did manage to sort of reset the damage that Reaper was doing quite often, but it's still not going to be enough on its own without dealing with the key threat and being able to fight off the entire team at the same time. So yeah, I would have liked to see a Torbjorn maybe, but what can you do? They can't seem to change hero during these show matches, so yeah, they had to play around the team they had. Otherwise, the team would be very dependent on the Tracer landing bombs onto the Reinhardt and onto that key pushing force. The ability for her to leap in and throw the bomb and then get a huge amount of damage out could have turned the match, but unfortunately, because we don't see much of Tracer, we can't see how much she was doing with that bomb. It proved to be very, very effective in the Tracer and Symmetra match, so I would have liked to perhaps have seen or heard more bombs going off from her. And just drifting back to the focus point, you can see just how effective this playstyle is. This idea of having the key front push, of having 5 people who are very, very difficult to sort of hold down and stop grinding their way forwards, while having a free agent run around. We also saw similar on the defense with the Tracer video, where Tracer just managed to run around and get a lot of kills. Is this going to be the way to play Overwatch? I'm skeptical. I think that a good player will be a good team will be able to realize, hey, they're playing this style, we need to shut down this person. By doing so, we can hold it fairly robustly. But it is nice to see that you essentially do have the option to carry a game, quote unquote, and you can actually put a very, very high skilled sort of star player to use and do some amazing things with it. Also interesting in the video to see was some counterplay, and especially strong use of the Reinhardt ultimate. If you have gone and seen Reinhardt's preview video, and I recommend going and watching it, that ultimate is incredibly strong. Any concerns I had about McCree's stun are sort of put onto a back burner because, wow, Reinhardt is sort of the counterplay god at the moment, I think, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how he fits into teams. So thanks for watching to the end. I've been OneAmongstMany on this Reaper gameplay preview. If you enjoyed it, like. If you want more similar content, then sub. You know all this advertising nonsense. If you do have any comments, feel free to leave them. I do love that this channel seems to be attracting a lot of well thought out, well posted comments and questions. I do read them all, and I do try to answer as many as I can. Also, thanks for all the comments about how you like to play the game. I was very interested and surprised to see how many people like playing support roles. Toodles.